All right, we're here at Book Expo 2007, and I'm sitting here with author Dr. Teena Cahill, and her book is The Cahill Factor, Turning Adversity into Advantage. Why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about,
The book?
Yes, the book.
All right. Well, my book, The Cahill Factor, Turning Adversity into Advantage, is part self-help and part boomer love story. I come from a background in psychology, so it has some ideas on how to enhance your resilience, how to use your strengths in the tough times to have a good life no matter what. And I tell the story through a love story. I teach through a love story about my husband, who was a Marine Corps fighter pilot and an international airline captain, and what happened when he became disabled and how we've been able to turn things around. It's sort of an instructional memoir. It's fun, and I tried to teach science through art. That was my plan.
Now, I know you work as a motivational speaker and do a lot of conferences. What did you find is the most challenging part of writing this book?
The most challenging part of writing this book was finding the time to write this book. I have 9 grandchildren, 6 kids, a disabled husband, clinical practice, and so I wrote the book either up until about 3 in the morning, or sometimes I would go to bed and get up at 6 or 5 and start writing. So the writing is wonderful. The time management is hard for every person in America who works and has a family. And that's covered in the book, about how hard it is for people to balance family and work. It's a big problem in this country right now.
Yeah, I've read that the work-life balance is just a huge issue. Let's go a little deeper. Which chapter do you think was the most difficult for you to write or actually put together?
Well, I sort of had this book in my head, and the chapters that were the most difficult to write probably aren't in the book. It was really fun to write this book. I had a great time. The fact is that I do talk about balance, and I talk about balance being a myth. It's a myth and a distraction. Perched on a high wire above the chaos of life is never going to cut it. Life is about enhancing your innate resilience and finding skills and strategies to deal with the things that happen in your life. So every chapter of this book, it's about adversity, it's about courage. My husband has great courage. I've learned that courage is contagious. You catch it from the people around you. It's about hope. Hope is biological. There's a lot in the book about the mind-body connection. We are hardwired to succeed, and hope is a biological phenomenon. When we have hope, there are hormones that are in our brain that help us look at things differently. In the book, I talk about cognitive reframes, how you can look at the world differently. I don't see adversity, I see challenges. I agree with Albert Einstein, who said that there's opportunity within all adversity. So I saw the book as a good time, but sometimes there was pain.
Well, as a message for everybody out there who are going to pick up and read the book, if you wanted to sum up the challenge of hope, how would you express to them that message?
Right. I believe that we can make a choice in life. The choice can be that we do not need to be defined by the events that happen in our lives, but rather by our reactions to those events. I'm a cognitive behaviorist. I believe our thoughts affect our feelings affect our behaviors. When they told me my husband had no chance to live, I finally reframed that and said, I'm going to plan on him living, and the minute he dies, I'll deal with it then. And that allowed me to go from the thought, my husband must die, and the feeling of despair, to the thought, my husband might live, and have hope so that I can take action to help try to save him and for us to go forward in our lives. So the message I have for people, sometimes life is tough. But as Joan Baez said, action is the antidote to despair, and changing our lives starts with changing our thinking and making a choice about how we're going to respond, and the choice to be identified by these choices and not by the events themselves.
And so is this a start to many books?
Why, of course. What author ever just wants to write one book? I have 20 more books in my head. I'm sure everyone on this floor has 20 more books in their head.
At least.
We just need a lot more people on Earth to read them all.
So do you want to tell them how you can get the book?
How to get the book? Yes. You can get the book at fine bookstores everywhere. Barnes & Noble, Borders, your independent bookstore, or you can call the publisher at 1-888-542-BOOK, and you can order it directly from the publisher also.